This summer solstice brings the launch of Synchronicity University. So excited about finally presenting you guys with a free, online, fully accessible data bank of astrology classes. You can watch lessons right now at synchronicityuniversity.com and of course my YouTube channel, nadiyashah.com. Hello, fabulous Leo. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of July 2015, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month puts into place, sets the stage for some very important learning to take place in the context of relationships and in the context of love. Now, I spoke about some of this in the annual horoscope, the annual love horoscope for your sign. I would encourage you to watch it again. But what is unique about this month? What is special about this month that makes it stand out in the trajectory of the topics and the themes that I spoke about in the annual horoscope is a full moon. So the month ends on a full moon in your opposite sign. The month starts with Venus in shadow in your sign, meeting Jupiter in your sign, adding so much power and potency to her energy. And then the last week of the month, Venus stands still and then begins to go backwards. So we've got these three things happening that do suggest an overall really important month for you in the context of love and relationships and understanding something more profound about yourself thanks to relationships. Those of you in an established bond, I do think that this month is going to kick off a really important time. Early in the month, it looks like there's lots of aspiration, lots of hope, lots of high energy around love, lots of clarity around where you are in the context of this relationship and where it is that you want to go. Now, some of you, I do think, are going to be making a choice to either move much closer to the person that you're with or to part ways. However, I do want to say, as I've said, I've been saying in the weeklies as we've been going along, I've been sharing also in the annual horoscopes as well, what happens during a retrograde doesn't always last beyond that retrograde. And so we're starting the month in a Venus retrograde shadow, and then Venus goes retro at the month. So my feeling is, as I look at what's taking place early in the month, that there may be a decision made in the context of the bond that you're in, and that decision may ultimately end up being reversed, and especially as we move towards the end of the month. Now, this is further affirmed to me by the fact that we have got this full moon happening. And now this full moon is happening in your opposite sign. There is going to be, as I like to say, when there's a full moon in your opposite sign, there is going to be somebody there, okay? Like if you have been single for a really long time or not, if you're in an established bond, regardless, the universe wants you to understand some truth about yourself that you can only see by considering yourself as reflected in the eyes of another. And as such, there is going to be somebody there. So your full moon having to do with love and relationships is happening at the very end of the month. So we've got a decision, a turning point in a relationship, if you're in an established bond, being made at the start of the month. Then we progress. As we progress into the month, there's some reconsidering happening. And then as we end the month, major developments of heart lead you to have a change of heart. So this is true if you're in an established bond. This is true if you're just dating somebody as well. And so when I see a sky like this, it just says to me, allow yourself to be open, allow yourself to go with the flow, see what you feel and why you feel what you feel when you feel it, and allow yourself to stay connected to what it is that ultimately is showing you in an undeniable way, and what it is maybe that isn't being so undeniable, what it is maybe that could be interpreted in different ways. All of that ultimately is going to help you to make the best choices as you navigate this month forward. There's a lot of love there. That's the thing. If you are in an established bond or you're just dating somebody, you can see the merit of that relationship. You can see that there's a lot of love there. So the questions really are going to be for you, what's motivating continuing, what's motivating maybe not, and from there moving forward. Those of you who are open to meeting somebody new, as I said, there is going to be somebody there. And as I look at this sky, and especially as you're finishing the month on this full moon. So by the time we get you to the very end of the month or beginning of next month, I do think that someone new is going to present themselves to you. And it's very likely going to be one of those things where there might be some communications crossed, okay? So what I mean by that is either this is going to be somebody else talking to them about you or someone talking to you about them, that type of thing, because there seems to be some conversation and some sort of like mixed, not very clear messages or a little bit of uncertainty around this, but it does look like ultimately things are moving forward in that regard. And so this tells me that it very well might be somebody who hooks you up or sets you up, right, with somebody new. Or it is going to be some type of communication that happens. Again, it looks like things are bouncing back and forth a little bit before they actually are making progress or moving forward. Keep in mind, and this is happening towards the end of the month, but do keep in mind that with a Venus retrograde, all is not as it seems. This can work to your advantage, right? It might be things are much better than you realize. But we're going to have to navigate the symbols. We're going to have to navigate the omens as we proceed, as we go forward week to week, month to month, as you progress on this journey. But I will say, and again, also depending really what's happening in your unique birth chart as well. But having said that, what happens during a Venus retrograde doesn't always last. The impression you get isn't always the complete picture. And also with the Venus retrograde happening right during this full moon, it looks like you're ready. You're ready to have experiences in love. You're ready to be open and to open your heart in a way that you haven't in a while. And all of this will allow you to welcome in some new experiences as part of your sacred learning in the context of love. What I love about this month for you is the emphasis on love. Yes, there's an emphasis on you valuing yourself, but also on an understanding of relationships, of partnerships, and how it is that ultimately they add to your understanding of an even greater love that is there. Romantic love in its own way adds to a sense of learning, a sense of growth, and a sense of understanding that you wouldn't be open to otherwise had you not opened your heart in the moment that you were ready to do so.